Hello, this is the new Acid Crab YouTube channel. This is the first video ever, and I'm going to make it about gear. So I'm going to talk about guitars first, and then amps probably, and then pedals. And I don't remember all the pedal setups throughout the years of recording Acid Crab, but I do remember what songs I use stuff on, so that'll kind of help. I don't remember the exact pedal chains or anything like that though. Yeah, and I can run you through what setup I'm using now, like the pedal order that I have now. That'll be last, so should be fun. Let's get into it. Guitars. Okay, so chronologically, if you start from the beginning, this right here is the first guitar. This was used on all of 4 songs, and it was used on Stuck and I believe 21st Century Isolation from the new record. Newest, I guess. It's not new, but you know, newest. It's just a Squier Bullet Strat. None of my guitars are nice guitars, by the way. I mean, haven't had any issues with it yet. Had to resolder the input jack a few times and whatnot. I also changed it because it was the 2-tone controls were set on this pickup and this pickup, but I changed it so it's the middle and the bridge pickup. Just kind of left this one alone. Also taped this off so it's only a 3-way, so I only get these 2, this one, and these 2. Because, yeah, that's that guitar. Green Stratocaster. Next up, we've got my Squier Affinity Series Telecaster. This is what you'll hear on everything besides what I mentioned. So like the Depeche Mode cover, and then the rest of the Acid Crab self-titled record, and the Effortless single, of course, and whatnot. Gone through a lot of pickguards. Started off with a black one. I don't even know if I have a picture of it with the black one, but then I went to a white, and then I took that off, and there was no pickguard for a while, and then I got this tortoise shell recently, which doesn't quite fit properly. Some of the screws didn't line up, but that's just Squier. But yeah, this is probably my favorite guitar to use. Sounds good enough for what I need, so that is that. Okay, so now a few guitars that haven't been heard on a record yet, but will be. This one in particular. Just a Epiphone SG Special 2, I believe. I don't know. I used it on a demo that I did, and I used it for all the parts except for the guitar solo, which I used the Telecaster for. It's an alright guitar. I mean, I've been having some electrical problems with the electronics recently. You know, just some connections are loose and whatnot, normal wear and tear stuff. I just gotta go in and redo it and what have you. The pickups are stock. I don't really care for them too much. I gotta boost the treble and stuff on amps a little bit to use them. They're a little bit muddy. But yeah, I've used this on a demo. I don't know if it'll be done on the final recording. Maybe, probably. It sounded pretty good, but yeah. SG Special 2. Alright, so the one and only bass that I have ever used in any Acid Crab recording with bass is this guy. The Squier Mike Dirnt Signature Precision Bass. I got this a long time ago because I was listening to a lot of Green Day, and they had it at Guitar Center is $150 used. And this little ding right there was the only thing wrong with it. For $150, it's pretty solid. And I plan on using this for a long time, unless the only reason I'd get another bass at this point is if I added a string at the bottom, got a 5-string. So yeah, this is the bass. So, sorry the picture's so blurry. But there's this acoustic guitar. I don't have any information really on it. It's Del Rey Montana Deluxe Dreadnought. It doesn't even have like a model number, serial number, nothing like that. I bought it in Germany, and I haven't seen them anywhere else. It's got like a Marshall style headstock where it's just kind of square. And a satin neck, which I like. I mean, I kind of glossed it over the years, but it was satin versus the gloss body, which I like. This guitar is definitely going to be used on the new record, probably in conjunction with a nylon string if I can get my hands on one for it. But yeah, there's an acoustic song coming up. Yeah. Also, strings and picks. That's something else that's pretty specific for me. For all of the recordings that I've done so far, the Telecaster and the Stratocaster were both strung with Ernie Ball Beefy Slinkies, which I believe is like a 13 through 58. Pretty heavy. I mean, I was using standard and drop D and D standard for those, so pretty heavy strings for that. I'm still using the 13 through 58 or the Beefy Slinkies on the Strat, but now I've started using D'Addario Chromes. I believe it's like the medium jazz gauge, 13 through 56 I believe, with a wound G string. I really like them. They're flat wound, so it kind of eliminates all that screeching when you slide around, and it kind of makes the tone a little bit warmer, if you ask me. It works good for what I need because I use a lot of fuzz and I have like delays and reverbs running, so if you have that little bit of screech and it catches onto a delay, it's just kind of, it's not fun. And then for the SG, I've got 12 through 60s, 12 through 58s on there. I don't know. I've gone from using standard tuning and D standard tuning to using like drop C at the highest. So it's usually like C standard or B standard, or even like drop A. So there's that. The bass, I don't know the gauges or anything. I just know I was using the Ernie Ball lights for a while, and then I switched to the heavies, like the heavy top. I don't remember. Slinky top, heavy bottom, I think is what's on there right now. Don't quote me, I don't know. And then my acoustics, I think I have Martin Retros on one, but the main acoustic that I use, I've got D'Addario Phosphor Bronze extra lights on there. I think it's either light or extra light. It's the 11 gauge high E. And then for picks, I either use my fingers sometimes for acoustic and sometimes for electric even. And I use the Dunlop Tortex, the yellow ones. I think it's like a 0.77 millimeter. Not sure. 0.73. That sounds right. 0.7 something. The yellow ones. And for guitar solos, I actually use an Ernie Ball, or not an Ernie Ball, sorry, the Jim Dunlop Big Stubby, I think it's called. It's a 3mm pick. It's really round and pointed on the end. Like, I don't know, it just glides across the strings really nice. I obviously wouldn't use it live because I don't want to strum whole chords with that, but for recording solos, it works great. So that's picks and strings. Amps. Amps, I'm just gonna go biggest or smallest to biggest. This is the bass amp that I use for most of it. It's an acoustic B15. I bought it at the same time that I bought that Mike Dirnt bass, just to kind of get something going on bass. And yeah, it's just kind of stuck. It's solid state. All my amps are solid state, which I don't really know if that's unfortunate, because I've gotten good sounds out of them thus far. So yeah, this amp's pretty good. It's got built-in overdrive, you know, mid-scoop, basic stuff. Good stuff. Sounds good. Okay, so we were actually in the music studio for this one. This is the amp that I was using on half of 4 songs and the entirety of the self-titled, as well as the Depeche Mode cover on the B-side. I don't remember how I had it set or anything, so it's just an acoustic G35 FX. This was a Christmas gift. It was on sale at Guitar Center. It was super cheap. I don't remember, but yeah, the lead channel, the gain channel, is absolute garbage. So stack some overdrives and buzzes and whatever into the clean channel and get okay sounds out of it. Not too bad. Okay, moving on to the amp that I'm using now. This is the Fender Cyber Twin. I believe that these were made around 2000, 2001. Correct me if you know better than I do. I don't know. Good solid state amp. Despite the screen, you might think it's digital. It's actually a transistor based amp. It's got multiple circuits in it. It's just all controlled digitally to emulate different sounds with different transistor circuits. So the effects are all digital, like the reverbs and the choruses and whatever else is on here. I don't even know. I don't use the built-in effects. I just have it on, like, I think it's the Bandmaster preset, and then it's like everything at 6, presence up pretty high, the gain's not too high, honestly. I'm slamming it with a bunch of fuzz. The volume's really high, but the master's not. It's kind of sounds overloaded a little bit. The trim, I haven't quite set it where I want it. I haven't set it to the point where it won't peak, but it still sounds big, if you know what I'm saying. But yeah, gotten really good sounds out of this. This will definitely be the amp that I use on the next record for sure, so expect to hear that. Fender Cyber Twin, 130 watts, so it's a lot, much bigger than this. It's also a much deeper cabinet, 2x12 versus 1x12. I think this is like a 3/4 open back, and that's completely open, so this one's a little tighter sounding. Pretty cool. Before I talk about these guys, I just wanted to say that also on the 4 songs EP, I used some direct-in recording for almost all of the lead guitars, because I was recording rhythm and lead guitar then. I'm not now. I just do one guitar, basically just like rhythm or lead if I decide for a solo. But yeah, I used some direct in for all the leads on that and the bass on that, so I didn't use that bass amp at all for that. So yeah, there's that. Okay, so it won't focus, but I'm gonna go kind of chronologically with my pedals as well. I didn't really think about how much of a task it is to take this apart. So for the 4 songs EP, I was using this guy, the bass Big Muff, and I wasn't using it the same way that I use it now. So I had the bass boost switch on, and then all the knobs completely turned up on it. So yeah, I was using that for my main fuzz distortion kind of sound. And then I was also using the Soul Food overdrive. I would usually crank the drive all the way up, turn the treble all the way down, and then adjust the volume accordingly. I don't really like to use it like that anymore, but yeah, that's how I was using it for that. I was also going into this guy, the Zoom GFX 8. This was, I think it was my 17th birthday, maybe? I don't know. Birthday gift. Really long time ago. It used to belong to my uncle. It was like late 90s that these were made. Basic like multi-effects unit. I used this on all of 4 songs, and then decided that this is why 4 songs didn't sound as good as I thought it should have. So I was relying too much on the EQ in here and not enough on the amp. So I just kind of got rid of it. It's just way too much. I don't really like multi-effects units because they're kind of like a jack of all trades thing. Like, they do everything, and they do it okay enough to say that they do everything, but it's not the same as having a pedal that's specifically for that. So yeah. Moving on. Also on the 4 songs EP is the flashback delay. I wasn't using it nearly as creatively as I am now. I was just kind of doing basic delay stuff. I'll get into what I use it for now in a little bit. And then there's the Arena Reverb that I use. And I had this on my board, the Dunlop Crybaby Classic, but that did not see use until the self-titled. And this I also had on my board, but again, it hasn't seen use actually at all in the studio. I use it as a writing tool a lot, and I think I'm going to try to use it at least once or twice on the new record, just to say that I used it and justify having it, you know. Moving on to the self-titled, got Bass Big Muff on a couple of the tracks, Stuck and 21st Century Isolation. And then shortly into recording in like January 2017, the foot switch gave out on me, and the pedal would only work when it was turned on, so it would kind of suck the dry signal out, and it was too much of a hassle to use it in the studio just because I didn't want to keep switching it on and off. That was replaced by the Way Huge Swollen Pickle Fuzz. I'm pretty sure this is just a Big Muff mod with more bass and added controls and stuff, but it's still just good old silicone fuzz madness. Good stuff. Also, Soul Food Overdrive, I had it set pretty much exactly like this. It was set more like that, with the treble knob varying depending on how much I wanted it to cut through the mix. Just kind of used it as a clean boost with a little bit of breakup, not too much there. That went into the OCD, which was set kind of like that with the high peak on, but now it's set more like that because the gain on the amp's a lot higher, because I'm not going straight into a clean channel and trying to push, you know, yeah. And then the carbon copy, analog delay. I got really into self-oscillation. I learned about it, wanted it, got the carbon copy. Best delay. I like the self-oscillation a lot. I also like setting it kind of like that-ish, and it's like a really nice like slap back, like adds a little bit of room, not too much. You can adjust the mix however you want. Good stuff. Got a mod circuit, got the width set as high as it can go, and then the depth set, or the speed set as low as it can go, so it's a very long, very wide modulation. Also the flashback, which was used for a little bit of basic delay stuff, and then I also looped it into itself like this, so when you set it to the dotted eighth and then set it kind of like that, and then wherever the effects level, whatever, it kind of like turns into like a pad, like it just takes over. It's like and then it's just like this really nice, like warm, lush pad underneath. And then of course the Arena reverb. So that's my reverb right now. Haven't really needed anything else. This does everything that I need. I don't use a whole lot of reverb. I like using this more than I like using a reverb. And then this is still on the board. This I used for a guitar solo on the record. And then this, I think I only used it for some noise in the intro track, Welcome to My Hell. I had it modded so that if it was turned anywhere past 12 o'clock it would oscillate and make disgusting noises, so I had it going like as deep as it could go with the, yeah, it was pretty gross. Gross noises. Didn't use it for anything musical, but I undid that mod recently and started using it again. It's modded too. So I took 2 of the clipping diodes out of it, so D4 and D5. So now it's more of like a clean boost / tube-like drive. It's not really as much of a distortion until you get like up in here. It's pretty nice. So yeah, that's what was used on the self-titled. Now moving into things that I've acquired since and how my pedals are set up now. Alright, so things that I've acquired since the self-titled, starting off with this guy. I went into a music store here in Fort Collins, Colorado, called Music Go Round. Went in there with 20 bucks, came out with this guy. Haven't really found a sweet spot for it yet, so I don't use it, don't plan on it, might, we'll see what happens. Anyway, so to start off, I've got the Big Muff now, the Muff now, the CE20 Stereo Chorus Ensemble, and a Chaos Pad, which all have not seen studio use. But anyway, starting with the Morley Optical Volume pedal. Oh, sorry, I got this too. Morley Optical Volume out into the bass Big Muff, which is set on dry, set pretty low. Volume there, sustains there, tones maxed. The effect out into the Russian Big Muff, which was a gift from my fiance. Thank you so much. It's set about 75%. This is meant to kind of boost that into ultimate massive Big Muff sounds, and this kind of sounds like a broken speaker by itself, and then this kind of has like a more of a distortion sound otherwise without the, you know. That goes out into the Muff, which goes into the Crybaby Classic Wah, out into the Carbon Copy Delay, Soul Food Overdrive, the OCD, which goes into the right out of the CE20, or the right in, I'm sorry, which goes mono out into the Arena, into the Ditto Looper, into the Chaos Pad, and then starting over at the Big Muff, the other side, the dry output, so that's never affected by this pedal, it just bypasses it entirely, and it splits this in half. That goes into the Swollen Pickle Fuzz, into the DS1 Distortion, into the Flashback Delay, again into the other side of the CE20, mono out, blah blah blah, blah blah blah, you know. Basically why I did that, so that I could blend all 3 fuzzes together, have these 2 in conjunction with each other, as well as the bassiness and hoofiness of the Swollen Pickle without missing the abrasive highness of the Big Muff. And also like the OCD and the DS1 sound pretty good together in parallel. Muff and the DS1 sound good in parallel, etc, etc. Also, if I want a completely clean delay on this side, I can have the DS1 going, have a completely clean delay here, and with this being set up like an ambient pad, I can have that be completely clean while overdrives are on the other side, and then I can use this as sort of like a boost for that, to boost the pad and kind of make it explode into harmonic goodness. And yeah, but yeah, basically to expand on the Chaos Pad. This is like the most experimental thing. I'm using it for like low pass filters and LFOs, and it's just a multi-effects unit controlled by a touchpad, which there's literally nothing else that's cooler than that. But it's also, you can also sample into it. So I hope I can get something looped on here and then kind of time it up, loop it into A, clear that, you know, and then loop with something else on there, loop it into B, clear that, and then I'll have two separate loops independent of one another on the Chaos Pad. In theory, I don't know. So far I've just used it as a multi-effects unit, and it's awesome. And so yeah, that's how it's set up now. It's a little bit confusing. It's mono, stereo, mono to get all that blended stuff. Also, not to mention the wah is only on one side too. It's on the side with the big muff and the other big muff, and you know, the more complicated side. It's basically like that, and then these three, and then this is like the end here, and yeah, this goes out into the amp, and that's that. So there you have it. That's my pedals. This is the lasso.